How's it going, guys? Dragon Star Production here, back with another What If video, and this time we'll be diving back into the highly anticipated What If Batman was in Dragon Ball Part 2, and if you haven't watched Part 1 already, what are you doing with your life, man? Link is above and below in the description, and if this video is something you enjoy, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It only takes a second to do. So, last time we left off with Bruce Wayne getting trapped inside Fire Mountain, where Bruce was actually forced to move the rocks one by one, avoiding harming anyone in the city down below. However, during this time, Bruce was getting attacked by bats, realizing that these bats were only caring for their home, so they were just trying to protect it, which gives Bruce the idea of actually creating a hidden identity of Batman. Bruce's eventually, though, gets through the debris, heading to his home right outside of West City, Wayne Manor. This is the time where Bruce actually develops the identity of the costume itself, where Bruce luckily has his butler Alfred, who manages to help him while Bruce is working at Wayne Corp. And speaking of Wayne Corp, let's talk about it here. Bruce and Dr. Briefs had to create an even higher tech capsules, and this is when Bruce Wayne and Dr. Briefs would actually ask their employees of their ideas. Bruce and Briefs would listen to all their employees, however, having so many they could only give them 5 minutes to give their pitches, which actually would enrage one of the fellow employees. This employee felt that he was overlooked, but we'll talk about this employee a little later. As for now, Bruce and Briefs carry on. Meanwhile, Dr. Briefs' daughter, Bulma, was exploring around Wayne Corp, where, like in canon, she actually manages to find a Dragon Ball, which this leads to Bulma actually doing some research of her own to actually figure out what this orb was. This then leads to Bulma actually going Dragon Ball hunting, and obviously, with Bulma finding a Dragon Ball, Bruce would immediately find out as well, especially due to the fact that Bulma asked him to actually use some of the tech that they have for Wayne Corp. Vehicles and capsules and other things such as that. However, Bulma was thinking that she was going to be alone researching. However, she had a Cape Crusader watching over her this entire time, which leads us to Bulma's first encounter with Goku himself. Bulma comes down the road as she notices a boy on the street, but before colliding, Batman swoops down, stopping Bulma's vehicle before hitting Goku. That doesn't stop Goku, however, from trying to kill the elephant, but Batman, thinking that the boy was actually going for his partner, he actually jumps in, intercepting Goku's power pole, and this actually shocks the young Goku, but Batman then lets the kid go, leading to Bulma and Goku to actually question who he was, because before they could even say anything, Batman was gone, which also leads to Goku showing Bulma his 4-star Dragon Ball like he does in canon, not knowing but the Bat was staying close guard, watching and listening to everything that the two were doing and discussing. Shortly after Bulma and Goku would reach the top of Mount Paozu, Batman would actually head back to Wayne Corp, letting Dr. Briefs know of Bulma's danger. Bruce then begins to research the Dragon Balls himself, searching and researching when he actually finally finds a long-lost article discussing an imagined set of 7 orbs that would actually summon a dragon that would make any wish. Bruce is more than shocked at what he's found and what he's reading when he actually realizes that he has to scan the Dragon Balls himself so he can actually find exactly what they are and what they can do. So he actually goes to where he knew one was. Bruce awaits for the night when he actually makes his move. Then he would put on the batsuit, going to where Goku and Bulma were, snatching the orbs up while the two were sleeping. He then takes them back to Wayne Manor immediately, as Alfred would then help Bruce, as the two would then walk down to the new Batcave. Alfred questions Bruce's reasoning for actually observing the Dragon Balls when Bruce says that these balls could have dangerous beings becoming unbeatable, uncatchable, and I'd rather make sure they don't fall into the wrong hands. Alfred nods, giving Bruce his tea. Bruce then analyzes the ball, finding that they had a very weird energy to them, almost like radioactive energy, when he then figures out his plan, a Dragon Ball radar. But before creating the radar, Bruce would then had to drop off the Dragon Balls back at Bulma and Goku's, where they were actually going to be found in the morning if he didn't bring them back. Easily he does this, and then Bruce would make it back to Wayne Manor and actually begin his new creation. Bruce creates the Dragon Radar within about a week, and this Dragon Radar can actually tell him the exact location of where the Dragon Balls are, so him finding the Dragon Balls and the exact location won't be an issue like it is for Bulma and Goku. But when Batman actually starts his journey, he actually uses this to actually keep location of Bulma and Goku and where their locations are at all times. So when Batman leaps throughout the night, he would actually come across a former friend having the first Dragon Ball, that being Master Roshi. Shockingly enough, though, the ball was actually in Kami House itself, where Batman plants feet on the island, not revealing himself as Bruce, but Batman finds the ball around Roshi's neck. With a quick snatch, Batman has the ball, and then its end takes off. Roshi wakes up trying to catch Batman, but Batman wanting to avoid a fight, he stops, telling Roshi that he's not here to harm anyone, but only to save them. Roshi, although not being able to sense the key and exactly tell who this was, he could tell that Batman was a good guy. Bruce then notices the next location as well it was a place that he's been before. This was Fire Mountain, and luckily Batman actually jumps into action right before the fire actually starts at Fire Mountain this time, so he gets the Dragon Ball and stops the fire from even occurring, so Fire Mountain doesn't go up in flames twice. Yeah, guys, I know Batman is definitely moving quick finding these Dragon Balls, and he's finding them with ease, but his search actually is forced to get cut short after a panic call from Dr. Briefs. Batman gets dressed as Bruce Wayne, rushing into the building as he instantly realizes his company was under attack. Bruce rushes through, entering the lab. However, he then goes in to find that Dr. Briefs wasn't there. His phone was still there, so that was kind of odd. He then picks it up as he then notices the box with a question mark on the table. He then goes to open it as a confetti of question marks fly out as Bruce then finds a riddle inside of the box. I am always around you, but unseen. I am often avoided, but never outran. I could find you at the end of the road or even the corner. What am I? Bruce doesn't panic, but he then starts to think, realizing the answer to the riddle is actually death. Bruce, thinking that the bomb was actually planted to take him out, he then covers himself as he then looks at Dr. Brief's phone that starts to ring. Bruce answers it saying, hello, but the only thing that gets a response is, hello, Bruce. I see you found my riddle. You read it and gave it more than 5 minutes. Bruce instantly registers who this was and actually starts screaming at the phone, where's Briefs? But the phone hangs up. This then leaves Bruce to figure out where Edward Nygma was because he has to save his partner and he has to do it soon. Meanwhile, Bulma and Goku would actually come across Oolong, Yamcha, and even actually stay the night in Fire Mountain. Not gonna lie, this was for Goku and Chi-Chi to still have their first encounter. However, when they find themselves getting stopped in a town by a mob of rabbits, which I'll say this actually takes place as normal as well, all the way to getting captured by Pilaf. But first, let's cover Bruce Wayne and his rogue employee. Bruce gets on his computer, getting all the information he has on Nygma. Then Bruce puts on his cape and goes to find his good friend, Dr. Briefs. Batman then gets on the top of a building as he leaps down to the bottom, trying to find the certain location that this particular person was. This location was a fear of Bruce, but Batman stripped that fear away from himself, so this cold riddle master won't win. Meaning Bruce finds himself in the alley of West Gotham City, that where his parents sadly passed away in. Batman figured by this location, though he wasn't the only one doing his own set of research. Batman then hears on an intercom, I didn't order a bat! However, this gives Batman exactly where to go. Jumping to the second story, crashing the door down, there stood his former employees. Where's Briefs, Nygma? This catches Edward off guard. However, does this buffoon know his name? This quickly then snaps back into character. For every reason you think I am who I am not. I am the Riddler. Batman doesn't care. He just decks Riddler right in the nose. Batman asks where again. Where is Briefs? Riddler doesn't respond, but he actually points to the door. Batman opens the door where he finds his friend Briefs tied to a chair. Batman goes to untie him, but he notices his pulse isn't there. Batman knows that what this means, as he then turns super mad, seeing the Riddler with a cane coming towards him. Batman wasn't expecting the cane to do quite the damage, but it definitely did. Riddler had a very strong cane, in fact, and he then smashes it across the Bat's back. Batman then swoops his feet under him, swooping above him, then standing, stomping on his gut. He then charges up a key ball in the palm of his hand, but instead he knocks the Riddler out by kicking him straight in the jaw. And this actually works to his advantage because Batman then leaves as he then calls the police department as Bruce Wayne. Bruce then talks with Commissioner Gordon, revealing what has happened without revealing the fact that Batman was there. But speaking of that, Batman has another mission that he has to complete. Bruce now had a reason more than ever to actually find the Dragon Balls, and he had to do it faster than Commissioner Gordon could actually get to the place where the Riddler was. That way, Dr. Briefs wouldn't be dead, but he would actually be barely breathing. This is when actually Batman would go crashing into Pilaf's castle after getting the Dragon Radar from Alfred, as Pilaf would then panic, sending Mai and Shu to actually attack. But Batman makes quick work of the two, where they actually would then grab Pilaf. Pilaf would then cry, but before Pilaf could actually say where the balls were, Goku would stare at the moon, turning into a rapid, fast, crazy-ass wild Zaru. Batman realizes this giant monkey was more important, so he then drops Pilaf on the ground and charges the beast. Azaru Goku was strong, but Batman's power level was just a little bit higher, and he was quicker, meaning that Batman was able to actually tame the giant, at least with his power. However, Bulma notices that Batman was kind of taking it too far, so then she would then scream because she notices him from his first encounter, knowing that he isn't a bad guy. Bulma's scream acts like she's hurt, so Batman actually would head towards her. Batman, knowing that Bulma had already been through a lot, she doesn't tell her about what happened with her father, but instead just listens to the child. Bulma explains that Great Ape is Goku, the monkey boy with the pole before. This actually shocks Bruce, who's inside the mask, but Batman doesn't hesitate. Instead, Batman cuts the tail off of Goku, although not knowing that Goku would reform into the humanoid that he was before. Bruce did know that cutting off the monkey's tail can tame them alone. Batman doesn't have any time to waste, so he then charges straight for where the balls were, as Batman easily gets all of them at one time, and before anyone could say anything or anyone could stop him, leaving Oolong not to get his wish for the panties, but something more importantly. He actually stops the Pilaf gang in their tracks, and then he's actually able to use the Dragon Balls to summon Shinron, where he then made the first wish of the series, reviving his friend, Dr. Briefs, leaving Bulma stunned. But that's where we're going to be leaving off this video. If you guys want to see what happens in part 3, comment down below what you would like to see, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed the video. Also, if you guys are interested, I do have a Patreon where you can actually get exclusive videos for just $1, and I'll also create one of your own what-ifs, and I'll actually drop it on YouTube. Or you can join the Discord. We have a lot of game nights nearly almost every night, or we're actually doing a Dragon Ball Legends tournament here currently. So I'll leave the links down below, and I'll see you in What If Dragonstar Was in Dragon Ball Part 6.